Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Week 11 preview. Your eyes do not deceive you. It is a video form this week because I just felt like it. So if you think this is stupid, good, because it's going to keep happening. Last week, we had some interesting results, and you got to start with Ben losing to Ports, who had 2 wins on the season. Entering this matchup, I picked Ben to win by 100. Ben didn't even score 100 points. A little bit of a disaster, and that was just Ben's second loss of the season somehow. And Ports' third, so probably one of the largest upsets of the season and of recent memory. The other notable result was, of course, me beating Squigs in fantasy sports once again, sending Squigs down to 3-7. Squigs hasn't quite sold off his roster, but I think if you keep offering him trades, he's bound to say yes. He can't resist. That moves me to 5-5. I still lead the division over Cree by a game, who was also a big winner this week, as he took out Bill. So him and Bill are actually tied right now. Or no, I'm sorry. Cree is a game behind Bill for that final wild card spot, and Cree is also a game behind me for first in the division. Also a game back of a playoff spot are Dusty, who took a loss to Steve thanks to Tyreek Hill's touchdown on Monday night. Dusty falls to 4-6. Steve leading his division at 7-3. And Matt, who lost to Josh again. Josh absolutely owns Matt all time. Let me pull up this record so I have it right. Josh is now 15-4 against Matt all time. That is just pure dominance. Pure dominance. Good job, Josh. Matt scored just 72.72 points. That is the second lowest score of the season, and his lowest since he put up 62 in week 9 of 2021, a loss to Dusty. Terrible stuff from Matt. Technically, he's still alive for the playoffs, but I don't believe. Squigs, I mentioned earlier, he's got 5 consecutive losses. It's the second longest losing streak of his career. He actually lost somehow 12 consecutive games. I don't remember this at all, so maybe I made it up. But 12 consecutive games from 17 to 18, and then I stopped tracking split season losing streaks. So that one's going to stay for a while. It's hard to lose 12 games in a row, but Squigs managed to do it. I got to loop back around to Ben, who is now sitting on 99 career losses. So I'm hoping he reaches 100 this week. Not 100 losses, just 100 points. Again, just kind of embarrassing. The other notable result was Jared just demolishing Pete. He won by 60, over 60. He posts the highest score of the week. That is Jared's 4th weekly top score. Again, $5 for each of those. So he's got half his dues back, and the season isn't even over. So impressive run for Jared, who looks like maybe the best team in the league. He's certainly the highest scoring team. He's got more than 100 points than the next highest scoring team, which currently is Ben. And again, those two are going to meet up here in a couple weeks. So we look forward to the Jared-Ben showdown, which will take place in week 12, and in all likelihood will decide the division. I think the winner of that week 12 matchup will win their division and take home the cash for that, and they will also take home likely the number 1 seed, depending on what happens here with Steve. Our current standings, if you just want to go 1 through 12, Ben again sits at the top. He's 8-2, is the 1 seed leading the division. Jared is in second, and he is 7-3, again, leading the league in points, but right now he would technically be the 4 seed. Steve is third at 7-3. He would be the 2 seed and get the other bye if the playoffs started today. Josh is 7-3 as well. He is in fourth and would be the 5 seed in the playoffs. I'm in 5th, but leading the division gives me the 3 seed. And again, Bill holding on to his 500 status as the 6th seed. So again, the The seeding kind of feels like the college football playoff rankings, where your rank is a little different from your seed, but I think it'll all work itself out. Again, if the playoffs started today, I would face Bill in the first round, and you would get Jared versus Josh in the other one. That would be the 4-5 game. Leading those divisions again is Ben, Steve, and myself. Ben, again, just a game up on both Jared and Josh. Dusty down in last in the Booger McFarland's Maniacs division at 4-6. And I'd just like to say that Dusty is in last place. Also in last place in the division is Squigs. Kind of unbelievable. The 3 last place teams are Squigs, Pete, and Dusty, which is kind of remarkable because if I recall, the power rankings had them all fairly high. In fact, Pete was number 2, Squigs was number 3, and Dusty was 6th. So those are your last place teams. We had Jared in 10th in the preseason, and Ben was tied for 7th with Steve. And so clearly we suck at this. We just have no idea what's going on. Fantasy football is luck, and kickers matter. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. Steve just about has the division put away. He's 7-3, 2 games up on the aforementioned Bill. So he's in great shape. Really the only drama there is if he hangs on to a bye, but he's also 2 games up on a bye over myself right now. And at this time, he will take on, in week 11, he takes on Josh. So that is a big matchup. Josh 7-3, Steve 7-3. That is going to be our matchup of the week. We have what I believe is a pretty obvious toilet bowl game this week. Matchup of the week, W-E-A-K. And it's got to be Squigs versus Cree. They have a combined 7 wins and 13 losses. Although they are both technically still in the playoff hunt. I think I'm going to give Squigs the nod in this one. He's got McCaffrey back. He's got Justin Jefferson, Breece Hall. Terry McLaurin, how is this team? 3-7. Well, if he would have started Brock Purdy last week, he'd be 4-6. And I would be 4-6. So I'm grateful that Squigs doesn't know what he's doing. That's great. That's great. The other big matchup, myself versus Bill. I mentioned earlier, Bill is the 6th seed currently, so I think a lot of wild card teams probably rooting for me, although Cree, like I said, is in that hunt. He's 4-6. This is going to work out well for Cree. If he wins, he can move into those playoff spots. So either way, whether it's by virtue of being tied for the division or being tied with Bill for that last playoff spot, this is a Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow showdown, which is great. Got some great NFL games this week, including Steelers-Ravens. So I'm going to take myself over Bill, obviously. We have another mismatch. If Ports can pull off another gargantuan upset, I don't see it. I think Jared's going to roll, although Jared does have Lamar, who historically has been terrible against the Steelers. And I'm sorry, I probably just jinxed it. He's going to go for 4 touchdowns and 1 billion yards, and they're going to probably murder the Steelers. Now, they said it, but Jared's going to win. Even if Lamar struggles against the Steelers, Jared's going to win easily. And he might even put up another high score. I mean, it's just kind of unstoppable at this point. Ben, for his part, gets a chance to redeem himself against Pete, who has just about checked out on the season, but he's still checking his lineup. He's still making moves. He's trying to trade Cortland Sutton, and maybe I'll trade for him. But Ben really has to redeem himself. This is kind of embarrassing to have lost to Ports. He needs to win. He needs to win because I just said Jared's definitely going to win. So if he wants to keep pace and keep the division his, he's going to have to win. But I think if I make a bold prediction now, I think Jared's going to take this division and wind up taking it. And we'll see Ben playing in that wild card weekend. Dusty is going to try to keep his hopes alive, as is Matt. They face each other in a 4-6 battle. This is a true playoff eliminator. Dusty or Matt, the loser, this is toast. They will be 4-7, technically still alive, but for all intents and purposes, they will be toast. Obviously, the story for Dusty is Travis Kelce, who has found himself I think he's still dating Taylor Swift, but he's scored 20 or more points in 3 consecutive games. Ridiculous. 12, 16, and 12 targets over the last 3 weeks. He scored 2 touchdowns. Safe to say Travis Kelce, who is 35 years old, is fine. He's about the same age as all of us. He's fine. So that is Dusty versus Matt. Dusty's going to win. I think Dusty's going to win. I just don't see it. So I'll take Dusty there. And then finally, like I mentioned before, we have the matchup of the week. This is Steve versus Josh. I'm a little worried about Jaden Daniels. The Steelers have a good defense. He didn't do anything. Now he's traveling on a short week. I think he's still hurt. I think that's limiting him. And Josh gets Jared Goff at home against Jacksonville. Looking to bounce back from, he threw 15 interceptions last week. And I think he bounces back against Jacksonville. He's only projected for 18 points. I think Goff outscores Daniels this week. I don't think that's crazy. CeeDee Lamb gets to play at home again on Monday night, so the sun won't be a factor, I don't think, against a tough Houston team. So Josh with Tank Dell and CeeDee Lamb on Monday night. So this is going to be an interesting one to watch all the way through to the end, as on the other side, Steve has Nico Collins. So it's just going to be about, does Tank Dell catch the touchdowns or does Nico Collins catch the touchdowns? Tyreek Hill is playing through a torn wrist ligament. Still projected for 13 points. Did just enough to get Steve the win last week. I think this is a minor upset, but I'm actually going to take Josh. He's projected to lose by 20. I think that is too much. I think Josh takes this one, even though he technically is starting someone on the Chicago Bears, who are an utter disaster, an absolute and utter disaster. So those are my picks for this week. This is the preview. This is the format. I'm going to go verbal. I'm going to go video. I was trying to make it a podcast so you didn't have to see my face. But unfortunately, you're stuck seeing my face. So I'm looking for these division races. I was telling someone the other day, I just love playoff scenarios. I love the new format with 3 divisions. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm not just saying that because I'm 5-5 and leading a division. You can relax. I'm 3rd in points. So chill. I deserve to be leading a division. I believe I have the most points against. Just barely, it looks like, over Cree by literally half a point. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I think with 3 divisions, more teams are in it. And you're going to see, this is why Squigs, even though he's 3-7, he's struggling to decide if he wants to sell. I told him he should sell. And yes, it is because I'm a little bit afraid of having a team with Christian McCaffrey and Justin Jefferson in the playoffs. So we'll see what he decides to do. The teams that are out of it are clearly Ports and Pete. At 3-7, they're definitely done. And then we're going to eliminate someone else this week, as the loser of Dusty and Matt will absolutely be toast. And we'll see. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff going on. Like I said, there's some great NFL games. Usually I don't get too excited for the NFL slate, but Steelers, Ravens, Chiefs, Bills, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Chiefs finally catch an L. Really should have lost to the Broncos last week. I think the Chiefs wind up losing 2 or 3 games. Maybe that's dumb. That's probably dumb of me to say, but I think they just wind up losing a couple more games. And I think one of them will be Sunday to the Bills, to the Buffalo Bills. And we also, I believe, we have Chargers, Bengals, which is an interesting game. Well, 2 historical chokers getting to go against each other with massive playoff implications. That'll be fun. And I'm looking forward to it. So if you didn't like this format, too bad. I'm going to continue to stick with it because it's a lot easier than writing. I'm probably a lot less funny in this format, but you're just going to have to roll with it. As a reminder, the trade deadline is this week. So once the games end this week, you may not complete any more trades. So if you are out of it, you probably should make some moves. Again, there's guys on the trading block. Thanks, Sleeper, for that revolutionary feature. We didn't have that on Yahoo. No, we did. We actually did. I'm getting used to Sleeper. I still don't love it. I voted against changing, but apparently me, Pete, and Squigs were the only ones. So here we are on Sleeper. It has allowed us some cool features, some not so cool features, but we're adapting, and we will survive. I think looking at some of these historical stats, again, Ben's sitting on 99 career losses, so could be looking at loss 100. Steve just had his 20th win last week, so he is at 20-18 career. And Jared just keeps rolling. He's got a ridiculous 140 point average, and he's only had 114 against. So that is probably not sustainable. And we'll see if he comes crashing back down to earth. I still think he has a very good team and will win his division. I think I'll win our division over Cree. And I would be shocked if Bill comes back and takes down Steve in that division. Though he has outscored him. He does have 7 more points on the season. So stranger things have happened. They're going to play in a couple weeks. Week 11 is, in fact, the last interdivisional week. So this is it. The person you're playing this week is the only team you have not seen this year. 12, 13, and 14 will be divisional-only matchups. And so that's brutal. That's brutal if you're in the Booger McFarland division. You're playing playoff contenders. If you're me and Cree, we're going to each get Ports and Pete. That should be 2 wins for each of us. Stranger things have happened. Am I right, Ben? And then on the other side, Panama Red Noskies, that's tough too. Matt's in there, Squigs is in there struggling, but those are not going to be easy wins for Steve and Bill. Could create some interesting condensing of the standings. And again, I'm just looking forward to seeing how this plays out. I may have to do a write-up just to get the playoff scenarios down here in a couple weeks. But otherwise, enjoy it. Fantasy football, you guys, remember. It's supposed to be fun. It's not always fun, but it's supposed to be. And I think the last 4 weeks of our season are going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to see how it all shakes out. It looks like we're going to have a new champ. Again, Squigs is the defending champion, but I think that's going to come to an end. If you haven't paid your dues, please do. Josh paid his dues yesterday. I got your Venmo, Josh. It's $40. Dusty, Cree, Matt, and Squigs. I know you got $40, and I know you have Venmo. I want that by the end of the week, before the trade deadline. You need to pay those dues. Good luck, everybody. I'm a little sad I didn't get any feedback with my candy top 10, so I think I'm gonna have to release another, maybe more controversial top 10 next week, or maybe down the road. But again, good luck to everybody this week. Not Bill, obviously. Enjoy.